What do you do when you resist or rebuke the devil and nothing happens? Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, Day 2 of the Torah portion, V'Yislach. We're still in Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 32. Let's begin reading with verse 9. He's praying, and Yaakov said, O Elohim of my father Abraham, and Elohim of my father Yitzhak, Yahweh, who said to me, return to your land and to your relatives, and I do good to you. I do not deserve the least of all the loving commitment and all the truth which you have shown your servant. For I passed over this Jordan with my staff, and now I become two groups. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, for I fear him, lest he come and strike me and the mother with the children. Yaakov is in a great dilemma. He finds himself outnumbered, outmanned, outgunned, and he perhaps is just recalling the last words of Esau that were quoted to him, as soon as daddy dies, I'm going to kill him. He remembers that he had to flee Beersheba for the very reason of his brother's anger. He has now become very wealthy. He has a lot of stuff. He has 4 wives and 13 kids and male and female servants. And that's not enough. That's not enough to solve the issue. How often do we just imagine, well, if I had just had X amount of dollars, you fill in the blank, I think I could solve all of my problems, and I think I would be in a good place. Wealth and money, even prestige, positions of power, do not fix everything. And so Yaakov is in this dilemma, and he's beginning to pray. He has already strategized, I'm going to divide everything in 2 groups. And if he attacks one, the other ones can run and have a chance to get away. He cannot imagine how this is going to go the next day, but he knows in about 24 hours, this issue is going to be dealt with, well or not well. And so he begins to pray. Before we get into his prayer, in the book of James, there is a popular verse that's been preached on probably a kabillion times, if there's such a number. In James or Yaakov chapter 4 and verse number 7, the teaching here is, so then subject yourselves to Elohim, resist the devil, and he shall flee from you. There are times that I have rebuked the devil over what I perceived was his attack or his strategy against me, and nothing seemed to get better. I'm sure you probably have as well. So I did a little bit of a study here, just a very short study. And when it says here to resist, one translation says rebuke the devil. It is a word that is used, of course, it's recorded for us in Greek. This is another teaching another time. The Greek translation, let me put it that way, the word that the Greek translation uses is also found in the Septuagint, and that is the Hebrew word nasav. If you want to transliterate, you can spell N-A, maybe an apostrophe, T-Z-A-V or T-Z-A-B, whichever you would prefer, nasav. And the basic gist of that, among many ideas, is to stand, to take a stand, to set yourself, to establish yourself. And so the idea is then to establish yourself or stand your ground, set yourself against your adversary, against Hasatan. The prior command to that, however, is extremely important. Submitting, or this translation says subjecting yourselves to Elohim. Elohim references the character of Yah, our Heavenly Father, that is the judge. Judgment is not always negative. We at times in a court of law will have a judge to judge or rule in our favor. And so that is, oh Yah, look at this as Elohim, the righteous judge, and see my righteous cause. As I submit myself to your judgment, where I may receive correction, where I may have to change, imagine that, where I may have to be even chastened and corrected, nevertheless, I submit myself to you. And when I do that, when I am submitted to him, then I can take my stand against the attacks, the wiles, the strategies of my adversary, my spiritual adversary. And when I am submitted to Yah and I resist him, he flees from me. He does not flee when I do not subject myself to Yah. When I stubbornly, defiantly, arrogantly, what other words can I use here, demand that I be heard or demand that my rights be observed, or that I'm righteous against whatever the issue might be, without submitting myself to Yah, I'm standing in my flesh. The serpent was told in the garden, you'll crawl on your belly and eat dust. Well, we are made from the dust of the earth. When we stand in our flesh, when we stand in our fleshly self, we are going to be consumed. So the idea is to stand in your spiritual self, not your dusty, dirty, physical self. Let's look at what Yaakov is praying here. Several things I want to point out. First of all, he prays concerning Elohim of my father Abraham and Elohim of my father Yitzhak. He's praying according to covenant. Ours is not a casual relationship with Yahweh our Father. Yeshua did not come to merely introduce us to the Father and we shake hands and stand on opposite sides of the room, not speaking to one another. We have a very personal, a very beneficiary relationship, a very encouraging, enthusing, invigorating covenant relationship with our Heavenly Father. We have covenant, not contract, covenant with Him. That means He's not going to back out on us. He is committed to the covenant, and He calls us to stand in that covenant. Secondly, He called out to Yah based on promise. He said, you're the one who told me to return here and to return to my relatives to this in this land, and that you would do good to me. I'm holding you to your promise. Father, this is what you said. When Yah gives you a positive promise, more chances than not, there's going to be a negative obstacle somewhere between the giving of that promise and its realization. There's always a test. It's a proving of ourselves. Are we serving Him for relationship and covenant or for the benefits? How is this? So he's crying out based on promise. Thirdly, he cries out with humility. He says, I don't deserve what you've blessed me with. I came across with a stick in my hand, and now look at all of this stuff. I don't deserve this, but you gave it to me. What Yah places within our care, He trusts us with, and it is up to us to use that in a way to honor and to glorify Him. Fourthly, he cries out for deliverance. He simply says to the point, deliver me. I need you to deliver me from my brother, who also happens to be Esau, the one who promised to kill me. If you don't deliver me, there's no other deliverance available. And finally, he prayed in reality. He says, I'm afraid. He didn't deny his fear. This is not some denial of reality. He prayed in reality. This is what I'm struggling with. Pray with reality. Pray according to covenant, according to promise, with humility, and ask for deliverance. And I'll see you again tomorrow. To this, shalom.